Good morning to everyone, or good afternoon to our guests from Europe. I would like to, perhaps before we get started with the presentation of SilverX, to introduce Gabriel Gonzalez and Timothy Lee. So Gabriel is an analyst of Echelon, who has been covering the SilverX story, I believe, for almost a year now. He also has been on site and does a fantastic job on following up on the story. So Gabriel, welcome very much to our webinar. And Timothy Lee, also a mining analyst from Red Cloud. Same, he also has visited our Tangana Nueva Recuperada project last year. So welcome to both of you. Thanks for joining. And I would like to hand over to, well, most of you probably know José García, our co-founder and CEO of SilverX. We just had our AGM today. I believe SilverX is in Beaver Creek, and this is a great opportunity to update some of our shareholders and investors what the company is doing. So that said, Jose, your stage.
Thank you, Sebastian, and thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. We are very excited to be telling you or recapping of our last few months, the progress that the company is making, and more importantly, all the catalysts that we foresee for the next few months, okay? As Sebastian said, we had our AGM this morning, in a very satisfactory way, and we're also here at Beaver Creek connected with the mining community. So having said that, we're going to start the webinar basically with a corporate presentation, which I need to be sharing. Sebastian, please allow me to share the presentation. Excellent. Here we go. I hope you all can see my screen, this powerful PowerPoint format. And most of you are familiar with our company because you are shareholders of ours. But again, I want to tell you more details about what's happened over the last few weeks, and specifically what was going to happen in the next few months. Remember that SilverX is a junior silver company with a clear focus on Peru. We own a large silver polymetallic district in central Peru, in Huancavelica, and we aim to become that company that takes some of these old projects, some of these old districts, to build them, to explore them, and to grow organically, okay? I think SilverX is going to become a mid-tier producer over the next few years, and the story that we built on our Nueva Recuperada district proves that ability of our team to do so, okay? I want to also recap what's happened since we went public about 15 months ago, okay? We went public in July 2021, and we promised a number of things. With the money we raised, we wanted to keep recognizing the district by doing aggressive drilling. We wanted to ramp up production to reach commercial levels, and we also wanted to expand the capacity of the plant. Those three things are ticked, or boxes that are ticked. Within less than 7-8 months, we did intensive drilling, and we updated our resource, more than doubling our tonnage and almost tripling our metal content, okay? We also are ramping up production, and we're going to be back to that in a minute, okay? And more importantly, now we are working heavily on a new PEA that we intend to deliver in Q4. Why a PEA? Because within the next few months, we want to show the blue sky of Tangana. Tangana is our flagship project. It's producing very good grades. It's having really large tonnage, and we want to show an expansion case to our investors, so value creation, okay? If we recap on our latest news releases, what we've been telling the market, I want to remark that both the months of July and August have been terrific in terms of production. You must remember that in July we announced that we've been producing, actually processing, about 125,000 ounces of silver equivalent at our plant, number that actually grew to 195,000 ounces of silver equivalent in August, okay? This slide is not up to date because there is a news release missing, but you all have read the news release of August, okay? 195,000 ounces of silver. Why is that important? Because that tells you that we are becoming that company producing in excess of 2 million ounces a year if we continue with these tonnages and grades, okay? That was our target, and it's fair to say that we are reaching cruise speed at the moment, okay? But even if production is obviously the main predicament of this meeting, let's take a look also at the exploration. Again, we kept on intersecting veins over the last few months. We've reported several times on the good quality of our veins. And in May this year, we reported a very sort of remarkable news release, which is the expansion of our resource from basically 7.4 million tons to 15 million tons, okay? From 75 million ounces of silver equivalent to almost 200 million ounces of silver equivalent. That means a lot to Silver X. It means that we are gonna have a long mine life. We're gonna have lots of years in this district, okay? If you look at the production, we started in Q1 basically refurbishing the plant, building the mine, and we started to catch up with production rather quickly. By the month of June and July, the company was starting to cash flow in a very positive way, okay? We had EBITDA in Q3, and more importantly, at the end of Q2, sorry, and in Q3 we are reaching levels of production that are, as I said, quite remarkable. Okay, 125,000 ounces equivalent in July, and basically 195, almost 200,000 ounces of silver equivalent in August. You all know the company, so I will not stay very long on this slide talking about the corporation, okay? But you are very familiar with people on our board, such as Sebastian Wahl, who is present on this call, Daryl Cardy, who is based in Vancouver, formerly with Northern Empire Resources, Mike Hoffman, former chair of Trevally. We also have Francis Johnston, who is the representative for our cornerstone investor, Baker Steel Resources Trust. He just joined the board a few months ago, and myself, okay? Also, we count on the advice of key people like Paul Matisek, John Gray, or Wendy Chen. Several of them are known to you, okay? Today, we're trading at around 23 cents, 24 cents, okay? That means that our market capitalization is in the neighborhood of $32 to $33 million, okay? We have a very good base of institutional money, okay? We have Baker Steel Resources Trust, we have US Global, we have Sprott Asset Management or Air Resource Investment, okay? It's also remarkable to say that management owns a large portion of the company, okay? Just among some of the founders and managers with more than 20% of the company and some of the institutional money, we account for more than 40% of the votes, okay? That's important to understand. But let's go on the valuation. At today's valuation, obviously, Silver X is a very undervalued company, okay? Just looking at every dollar per ounce of silver in the ground, we are better positioned than most of the competitors now to re-rate our company going forward, okay? Just take a look at the comparables, and we'll not stay here very long. But let's go into the business, okay? Because what we own really is a district, and it's important that you understand that this district provides sufficient growth for the next few years. At the moment, we have a processing facility that is working 24/7 and is located at the core of the district, okay? And north of it, we have the Tangana Silver Project. And Tangana is a mine that we've been drilling for the last year and a half, and more importantly, we've been building, okay? That's basically the asset that is providing the production, or most of the production, and also the resource growth, okay? Tangana is reaching full capacity soon, and at that very moment, we're gonna activate more projects in the district. So our second project coming up online is called Plata, formerly called Esperanza. Plata means silver in Spanish. It's very high grade, and it's also a really impressive web of veins that we intend to explore, to drill, and to build for production within the next 18 months, okay? We have a nice resource. Since going public, we more than doubled in tonnage and tripled the metal content, okay? We have very good grades. Those grades that you can see today on our 43-101 do not account for gold content, okay? But the average grade we have is in excess of 10 ounces of silver equivalent. Why is that important? Because it means that it's high grade, that the company is gonna make money on those resources, okay? Also, the tonnage that we have tells us that we're gonna be able to build a bigger case for our company. At the moment, we are processing a maximum of 720 tons a day, and with this kind of tonnage, we envision that the throughput is gonna grow at least twice, potentially 3 times in the next few years. This is a snapshot of the Tangana mining unit. It's basically a number of veins that are very long on a strike and span for almost 10 kilometers, okay? This includes volcanic hosted and carbonate hosted veins, but more importantly is high grade, okay? About 80% of our resource is concentrated on this mining unit. At the moment, we are building a mine where you can see the Tangana main area at the central part of that unit. Towards the west, we're going to evolve for the next few years, and we're going to be finding really high grades. That west area of Tangana is particularly a very high grade silver area, okay? It's going to get expanded over the next few months. But more importantly, this picture is aimed to tell you again that the Tangana mine is going to be large and it's got to grow. When you look at the grades, it's rather impressive. This mine was partially put into production in the early 70s, very small tonnage, and they were extracting really high grade, okay? Today, as you especially see our news releases, you can see that our grades are consistently very high. And the great surprise, not only that we have high grades of silver, lead and zinc, but we also have gold credits. Initially, we understood that gold was adding some value to our concentrates, but now we find out that gold is actually adding substantial value to our revenues. That's great news. First, because we are producing concentrates of very high value, but also it changes our exploration perspectives. It means that the Tangana area, the Tangana system, is a silver and gold mine. These are some examples about what we are doing today. On this long section, you can see the blocks of both measured and indicated resources that we have. The mine is being developed on a fast track. Now we are producing on this sort of core area of the mine, that block you can see in yellow. But we are quickly expanding the infrastructure down deeper to make sure we access the bigger blocks. In other words, we can now guarantee our investors that we have production available for the next few years, and it's good grade. In parallel to the main vein in Tangana, we've expanded the mine horizontally to the next veins. Remember, we are mining systems that have numerous veins all together. We expanded into the Cauca vein, which is one of the biggest or most attractive veins in the district. That's pretty much untouched. It's got the best grades on surface. We've done drilling very successfully, and we are starting to prepare this vein for production. What it means that over the next few months, again, we are going to be able to fill the plant. And this is all happening now, okay? So as you can see, Tangana is reaching full capacity now. And the moment we are comfortable with that, we are going to move our attention to activating the second project, Plata. And this is a snapshot of that project. As you can see, it's an impressive system of veins, mostly parallel and one next to each other. This system was produced by Buenaventura Mining Company in the past at a very small scale, around 400 tons a day, very high grade. Most of the resources stayed there. We intend to drill it. We intend to upgrade our resource over the next few months, and we want to put this into production by 2024. What's really important is that we all understand in this organic growth context that Tangana will be providing the first 2 million ounces of silver equivalent a year. And the Plata will come online with potentially a similar amount, perhaps even bigger. That's something we don't know, but our vision is that Plata will be an equally big mine as Tangana. So that's really what proves our story, and I want to sort of rephrase the catalyst that you should see over the next few months. Remember, we expanded the capacity of the plant. Now we're catching up in terms of tonnage. It's very high grade. The company's cash flowing very nicely. In Q4, you are going to see a preliminary economic assessment on the expansion of Tangana. I can't say much about that work, but we certainly hope that Tangana is going to be an extremely attractive investment case. We'll continue with the exploration, and over the next year, we intend to do an additional 15,000 meters of drilling. It's also important to notice that we are working on a new environmental impact study. That impact study is aimed to increase the overall capacity of the district. At the moment, remember, we are 720 tons a day permitted plant. We see these 3-4 times bigger. So hence that we are advancing with the permitting, okay? So by 2024, we should be ready to build a much larger operation. But what adds value to that is the additional project that we are coming or bringing online. Again, Plata being the second flagship project of the company. And also, as I said, we have gold in the district. So there is a project called Hasawasi, which is a disseminated gold next to Tangana, that we intend to drill in the next few months, hopefully in Q4. Okay? That was a summary of what was happening in the Nueva Recuperada Silver District. We also have, as you know, a very attractive gold project in southern Peru. It's called Coriorco and Las Santas. Coriorco is a system of veins of very high grade of gold that were mined in the past in an artisanal way. That project might be actually target for production. But what's really exciting about this project is the other area called Las Santas, where we believe there is potential for disseminated gold and also for a porphyry system. That project is being put in a second priority over the last year because the company has been concentrating time and money on the Nueva Recuperada district. But we intend to work heavier on this project in the upcoming year and to provide value through it. That's basically, Sebastian, what I wanted to tell today about the production, about the exploration, about the overall performance of the company. These are some pictures of what we are doing today. As you can see, this very interesting ore containing high grade of silver and gold. Okay, this is something we are processing today. And that's it, Sebastian. I think we are going to have Q&A, and we have our guests here that I'm sure we're going to have interesting questions for us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jose. I would like to hand over perhaps to Gabriel first, and then afterwards to Timothy. And then we also open the floor for our guests to submit some questions.
Thank you very much, Sebastian and Jose. I think you touched on a little bit of what I wanted to ask Jose in regards to La Plata. I believe you mentioned that it was operated by Buenaventura at about 400 tons per day. In terms of the growth that the company wants to head towards, what does SilverX envision the mining rate would have to be at La Plata to feed an expanded production scenario? What do you think the cost of that development would be if exploration plans are successful at La Plata?
Thank you, Gabriel. La Plata was a very interesting project when Buenaventura was operating that. Even if this is not public information, I remember when doing the due diligence on that area, they were producing about 400 tons of very high grade. In terms of US dollars value, the ore was in excess of $275. Okay, that's extremely high grade. La Plata indicates, by all means that it's going to be very high grade. Surface sampling, and also is. I wanted to note that we actually have more than 30,000 meters of drill core of the project. So we really understand what's there, okay, what's in there. Okay. As I said, we're gonna do drilling over the next 18 months, and we hopefully can get some production in 2024. My initial guess that La Plata will be equally big as Tangana, so I would anticipate a production level in excess of 600, 700 tons a day, okay, of high grade. That's basically why I refer to the additional 2 million ounces of silver equivalent.
Okay, thank you. And so that effectively it would bring you close to the approximate mix that you're going to be looking for in order to operate the whole property at around 2,000 tons per day. That you're talking about a 50% mix between Tangana and La Plata once that is in production. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. And I can't anticipate any numbers on the PEA because we are working on it. But remember, Tangana is 720 tons a day now. I would not be surprised if Tangana was at least, in the PEA outcome would be at least twice the current throughput, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,400, 1,500 tons a day. And that provides already that sort of step change in the production of the company, right? La Plata will start with about 700 tons a day with the current processing facility, right? And should grow over time. So yes, we envision those 2,000, 2,500 tons a day within the next 3 years.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
If there's no other question from Gabriel, I would like to hand over to Timothy.
Thank you very much, Sebastian and Jose. Thinking about the jurisdiction and the general market conditions, would you say buy low, sell high theory applies to Peru in general and perhaps SilverX specifically?
Indeed. Well, we're in a good position at the moment, despite our low market cap. It's a company that is cash flowing. It's a company that is in a relatively healthy situation. And as you can see, it's got organic growth at our doorstep. Peru is a country that is a mining country, is a prime mining jurisdiction. Despite some of the international concerns, the mining industry will stay as the key engine of the economy. There is no regulation of any, let's say, anti-mining profile in Peru at all. And I don't think there is anything that should be concerning to international investors. As you know, yes, buying low is an opportunity at the moment. I think SilverX is definitely one of the best values you can have in the silver space. Production, exploration, and the valuation we have at the moment, again, is a tremendous opportunity.
Great, thank you. And then looking long term, obviously you've given us some of the plans for the next year and a half. But if you could look into the future, what would SilverX's growth and development plans look like in 3 years?
SilverX is determined to become a mid-tier producer. And as you can see in the district, we've got sufficient material to grow. We'll also be looking for other opportunities. I think our team is proven to be a good team, a very dynamic team. And what we've done with the district, we want to replicate in other areas of both Peru or other Latin American countries. It's a mandate. So it's fair to say that we are well positioned. We are ahead of our competition with our own project. Okay? And in parallel, when the market allows, we'll be taking some opportunities. I want to take this company beyond 10 million ounces within the next 3 years. That's something obviously I can't promise, but I certainly commit to making all the efforts that the team, is making today to get there. Just our district will go in excess of 4 to 5 million ounces a year, and we'll add projects to get to at least 2 or 3 times that capacity.
Great. Thank you very much, Jose.
No, thank you very much, Timothy. So the floor is now open for our listeners to submit some questions. I would give it a few minutes and then ask the questions if there are any. That's that. I think we covered quite some ground already. So let's give it a moment. So we have one question here. What kind of exploration success is needed for you to become a profitable mid-tier company? If the veins are narrow, how costly will it be?
At the moment, we're exploring veins. Thank you for the question. Not sure who is asked that question. We are exploring veins in this first stage of the company. Our veins are high grade, but also they are not that narrow. Our average width is in excess of 1.20 meters. Okay, occasionally our veins go to 3 meters. That's fully mechanized mining. It's profitable mining in Peru. That's our daily business. Okay, so let's say that with the grades we have in our resource and the widths we have, we should make money. As I said, the company is cash flowing very nicely over the next few months. You should actually look at the financials in the upcoming quarters, and you will see the results of what I am saying at the moment, okay? The exploration of the next few months will continue to be vein drilling. Why is that? Because we want to prove those veins not only on a strike, but also at depth, especially those offshoots that are bringing very good grades, okay? So we want to strengthen the performance of the company. But additionally to that, as I said earlier, there is other targets in the district. There is disseminated gold and all other targets of, let's say, potential bulk tonnage for silver and polymetallics, okay? Those targets will come in a later stage. At the moment, we focus on securing production and growth over the next few years.
Thank you very much. I have 2 more questions here. So the president of Peru has been in office for a year now. A lot of people were worried about Castillo and his views on mining. Has SilverX been affected in any way? What is the outlook in your view as a resident there or the company in Peru? So the political climate, how does it look like?
No, SilverX has not been affected by that. And SilverX has got a very good relationship with the communities that we impact. Okay? The President Castillo has been in power for a bit longer than a year, and I have to state that despite all the international concerns, there has not been any attack on the mining industry. It's important to understand that no royalties have changed in Peru. The mining code has not changed and is not going to change. So we operate under the same conditions as before, okay? I also put some emphasis on the relationship we have with our community. Also, over the next few months, we expect to renew our community agreement for a number of years. It's in very good standing. As I said, we have a great relationship, and it's going to continue for many, many years.
Thank you very much. I have one more question. You were speaking about ongoing exploration. How will that exploration be reflected in your resource statement in the future?
That's a great question. I think over the next few months, you will not see the resource growing in tonnage, perhaps growing in quality, so improving some of the measured and indicated resources, okay? Especially, as I said, on those areas where we found really high grade of silver and gold, okay? So our focus on the next few months will be to move some of that tonnage from the inferred category to measured and indicated, and if possible, we'll try and increase the grades. The PEA will help do that as well, okay? In a later stage, we'll plan to extend the resource. And as I said, my guess is that we'll be drilling deeper, and we'll obviously extend the tonnage, right, of our resource in Tangana. But over the next few months, you will see an increased tonnage of measured and indicated resources.
All right, thank you very much. I have another question coming in here, which is a bit more on our geology. The question is, the position of the mine mineralization targets are part of a structural mining district. Are you considering the possibility of exploring more mining prospective land along of it?
Sebastian, could you say that more prospecting land?
Yeah, I think the question is whether, because we have a fairly large position, if I understand this, and the viewer would like to know whether we are also exploring other targets in our land package.
Indeed. Most of the drilling has been concentrated in Tangana, in the Tangana mining unit. We are now moving to Plata mining unit in the next few months, okay? And on top of that, we have some other targets. There is an old mine called Maria Luz that we now call red silver, and red silver is because for those who know some geology, the tetrahedrite and some other high-grade silver minerals are of red color, okay? So it's a very high-grade area. That's going to be the third target. And on top of that, again, I will put the emphasis on the gold project. We have a gold project called Hasawasi. It's a potential disseminated target on surface, and we are going to be drilling that. I think we have 4 magnificent projects in our district, and that provides sufficient targets for the next few years. Thank
you very much. So I don't have any further questions here. I would give it perhaps, well, that said, there's just one coming in. What's the most similar project you know to Tangana and Plata in terms of geology mining method? Is San Vicente a good example?
San Vicente, not sure. I'm not that familiar with San Vicente. I think Pan American Silver operates assets that are relatively similar. Maybe Huaron, Morococha. There's similar assets throughout Peru. Also, Raura, which is a private company. San Vicente might be, but I think that what's really important, and you want to look at other Peruvian companies such as Vulcan, Pan American Silver, they've got assets of the same kind operating at 2,000 tons a day, 3,000, 4,000 tons a day, high grade for several years. You want to look at Sierra Metals Yauricocha, you know, that mine has been producing silver and polymetallics for the last 80 or 100 years and continues. It goes on and on and on. I think this district that we're untapping is one of those. It's going to stay here for many, many years. It's going to continue giving high grade.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that answered the question. And San Vicente is a Pan American asset as well. So
yeah, but there's a San Vicente in Peru and San Vicente in Bolivia. The Pan American San Vicente is in Bolivia. Sorry, I was referring to San Vicente, Peru.
Yeah. All right. I think we covered all the ground. So if there are no further questions, perhaps by Gabriel or Timothy, then I would call it a meeting. It was fantastic. Thanks for the update. Thanks for the number of people that have joined us. Anything else, Gabriel, Timothy, you want to say?
Thank you very much for allowing us to participate. We're very keen on the story and very much looking forward to its ongoing success.
Thanks for your support, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.